Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Can't wait to get started with our Friday review here on the Cabral concept. I've got a brand new product review as always for you every single Friday. I love being able to test out the best of the wellness industry, anti-aging, healthy biohacking, and fitness. Today I've got one that are going to, well, I would say this, your feet are going to thank you once you learn more about this product. So I'll share that with you here today. I've been using them now for about a week, and I'll share the progress, when I use them, why I use them, and the benefit that I've gotten. I also want to go over a brand new book review of the week. This one is on specifically leadership that I think really it can be beneficial, of course, anybody who runs a company, anybody that's a coach, but also maybe even parents as well. So that's why I want to share that book with you. 2 more research studies, just like we do every single Friday. I bring you new research, cutting edge research that I think is great for you to know, and obviously not only for your own life, but to share it with others that you love and care for as well. All right, this one is going to be on what happens when we are exposed to antibiotics earlier in life, and then what we can do in order to hopefully overcome that. Then I also want to talk about a specific fiber, brand new cutting edge, that is inert, meaning it's not harmful, and is being used right now to actually develop remedies to help children and adults overcome real food allergies like peanut allergies, etc. So we'll go over that. All right, let's dive right into the show. We always do a little update as to where we're at. You know, hard to believe, but we're at the official or unofficial end of summer. So every single year as we start to hit Labor Day weekend, you know, it's kind of that feeling of getting back to school with the kids or getting back to your work-based routine. You know, it's funny because I remember just 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, the unofficial start to summer. And when I look at that, I always say, all right, this is a season we're in to enjoy with family. I get to see my parents a lot more, my siblings a lot more, friends more. And it's amazing. I really do get to enjoy that. But for me, although I can miss the summer, what I like to do is say, okay, now what do we get to look forward to this next season? So I'm always excited about that. Of course, we have the Reimagine Health Summit coming up in October. If you haven't already gotten your ticket, I can't recommend that enough. Check it out at rhsevent.com. Come meet my team and I live, plus 16 expert speakers to learn how to completely optimize your mind and body. You won't want to miss it. End of summer sale and free shipping going on over at Equalife. If you don't know about that, you're missing out. Head on over to stephencabral.com/shop for free shipping all this weekend. And of course, if you have not already discovered the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, I can't recommend it enough. 1, to find a practitioner if you need one, or 2, to become a certified health coach yourself. The most rewarding, really the most rewarding career in the world. Head on over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org for details. All right, let's dive into the show. Last week, if you missed it on the Cabral concept, episode 3125, that was Monday's show, is how to find what you're passionate about in life. So oftentimes we always ask, like, I wish I just knew what my passions were. Well, in episode 3125, I help you to find out what that is, but to also curate it in your own life. Like if there's something that interests you, here's what to do. That was episode 3125. All of these, of course, are available at stephencabral.com/podcast. Tuesday's show is the enzyme responsible for, it's technically the molecule responsible for inflammation, pain, allergies, and asthma, and a very simple tip as to how to eliminate it. So check out that show for sure. Like that's a big one. Now, the next one, Wednesday's show, 2 grams a day of this particular supplement boosts metabolism by 14% in just 4 weeks. And I'll also tell you this, it increases fat oxidation during workouts by almost a third, meaning 29%. So pretty unbelievable. The research behind this just keeps getting better and better. You'll want to check out that show. And then yesterday's show was a very strange study on hydrogen, technically electrolyzed water. I'll share with you what that is, and increased longevity. And I go through the entire study. I share with you all of the results and data, and this specific deceleration aging factor they quote as to how it works. So these were all, these are shows that I love doing. Hopefully that you enjoy them as well. Tune in by just simply going to stephencabral.com/podcast, or if you're already on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on YouTube. We love having you as part of this community, and we bring you brand new shows and videos each day. All right, now let's get into our product reviews, book review, and research. So product review of the week is from a company called Currex. So Currex, and it is the #1 rated for foot pressure relief and comfort, German engineered company. Here's what it is though. Simply put, it is an insole that you put into your sneakers and or shoes to alleviate what I've found to be foot fatigue. So let me share with you exactly what it is. I used something like this called an arch support back in high school. I was called or said to be having flat feet back in high school. There's all sorts of different reasons for that, partly genetics, partly how your feet develop, all sorts of different reasons. They can go into fatigue, etc. But simply put, they have a drop in the heel, so there's no lift in your shoe, because I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that putting a lift in your shoe actually throws off your normal gait and how your body is meant to be in alignment. So from your ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle. So there's a zero drop. This brings you back down to just a normal flat foot, meaning for your heel. But then there's an arch support. So back in the day in high school, you'd go to your podiatrist and they would actually take a mold of your feet and then they'd create a special arch support for you. Nothing wrong with that. Probably a few $100s. But they're really rigid. These right here, very inexpensive. And you can choose from a low arch, a moderate arch, or a high arch. I have worked hard to build my arches up over the years. How have I done that? By lifting barefoot, honestly. Squatting barefoot, deadlifting barefoot, doing step-ups barefoot, meaning no shoes, and well as walking lunges. And all of those things help to strengthen your arch as long as you're cognizant about it. Then I do one-legged reaches, so just exercises. That's really it. But I still don't have like phenomenal arches. Now, it doesn't affect me. I never wear arch supports typically. I just wear my regular shoes, and often they're just typically flat. But when I've been going on now longer runs, and also when I'm going to be doing more events and I'm standing for a longer period of time, like the Reimagine Health Summit, I'll wear these. And here's why. During a long run, your feet, which have literally hundreds of muscles, tendons, and ligaments in them, can get more fatigued. And so all this does is it's not like you don't want to strengthen your foot. It allows that arch not to collapse down, which can create pronation, which can then create pain on the inside of the knee called patellofemoral pain. And what happens is literally you have two bones below, one bone above. I won't get too deep into it. And the two parts of the anticular cartilage can actually start to push on each other. All that means you can start to get knee pain. So what I'm doing right here, and you can see that there's one black one, one yellow one goes on the left, one goes on the right. Really easy to obviously know what they are. They wouldn't feel very comfortable. I went with the moderate arch. My foot size is a 10.5. And so for me, the large is a 9 to a 10.5 for men. Now, the nice thing is, I don't have to snip these at all, but you can actually just trim this by taking out the sole of your sneaker. So I want to give you a little recommendation there. If you already have sneakers, you just take out the sole that comes with it. And you trace then this, right, or the other sole goes over the top of it. You trim that around it after you traced, and you just slide this in instead. You get rid of your old soles. This becomes your new sole, and it gives you a little bit of arch support. Let me give you one more reason why I like these. And by the way, again, I have no affiliation with the company here, but I like to promote great companies. So I'm going to link up the Amazon link for you at stephencabral.com/3129. So here's why I like it though. A couple reasons. So one is I used to, like over the last few months, I've been choosing sneakers based on a little bit more support, arch support, as I'm increasing my running distance. But they're not my favorite sneakers because they're heavier and they're a little bit more rigid. They're just not the sneakers that I typically like. So now what I can do is actually choose the sneakers that I like, that are more lightweight, that have some good cushion for longer runs, but I can now use these as my arch support. All right, who else are these good for? Again, if you're standing a lot during the day, if you have low arches, I still strength train, I still recommend that. but also for people with plantar fasciitis, they can be very, very helpful. Now, again, it's not the only thing I recommend for plantar fasciitis. I podcast on that you can search at stephencabral.com/podcasts, but these can be very helpful. Again, the brand name is Currex. They've got a bunch of different types. I got the runners ones, and I got moderate arch support. Probably a good place to start if you don't know if you have high archers, low archers, etc. But these can be really great for that. All right, that is our first product review for the week. Of course, let me know if you have any questions on it. I'm always happy to help. And I will link that up, as I said, at stephencabral.com/3129, where I will also link up this book. The book is called The Score Takes Care of Itself, My Philosophy on Leadership by Bill Walsh, along with Steve Jameson and Craig Walsh. Okay, this book is not a recent book. It didn't just come out, but it's new to me, as they say, right? So someone recommended this. I haven't read, honestly, back in the day, I read a lot of books on leadership and all those different types of things because I was very much into self-development and still am. It's not like I'm not. But this came out in 2009. Now, the thing is, though, I love to read books that have been out for a while that have stood the test of time. So this is a book that maybe ordinarily I wouldn't read. So it's like, well, why would I recommend it to you? Because when I read it, I was like, this is great information. It's great information to re-go over. It's great information for the new things to learn about, but also don't just read about it and learn about it, start to put it into practice. So even if you could only go with a few, and I'm going to actually turn this into a podcast, but I want to give you the first three, is there's 12 habits plus one that Bill Walsh wrote about of being a leader. And so I'm going to turn this into a show. But so even if you don't read the book, it's okay. But the first one is this: to be yourself. And I love this one because oftentimes we model our behavior on someone else, which is okay in the beginning. It really is. But once it's time for you to step up and be the leader of your family or your whatever it might be, community or church or whatever it is, right? Your business, you do have to be you. You have to be authentic. And so I love that first part. The second is be committed to excellence, because the truth is that if there's anything worth doing, it's worth doing well. I feel that way more than ever now, and I literally don't start a project unless we can do it well. I've been telling my team that a lot lately. I just say to them, listen, if we can't excel and be best in class at this, let's not do it. Let's refer it out to someone else. Let's recommend another company, another product. So for example, we don't create insoles for shoes. Never going to. Not going to be the best at it. Let's recommend probably the top company, Currex, right? So that's really what I strive for, is like whatever you commit to, though, commit to being great at it. Doesn't mean you're going to be the best in the world, but commit to being great at it, because also that commitment to excellence then trickles down to everyone else in your family, your community, your church, your business, your team, etc. All right. The third one is this, and then there's a lot more after this. These are kind of like feel-good ones to start with, but it's be positive, because the truth is that yeah, there's a lot of people on social media that are negative and they spread fear and they attract a lot of people to themselves by spreading that fear. But in the long run, I think more people want to be led by people that are positive, because people struggle in their own life. Everybody struggles in their life, right? But they want someone to help lead them, to help guide them, that can show them the way to a better life, to a more positive life. And living a more positive life and being more positive is contagious. It really is. So those are just 3 of his 12+1 tips. Now, that's only one chapter. There's a lot of great information in this book. It is old school. There's a lot of old school thoughts and philosophy. If that's not really for you, I get it. But you don't have to accept everything in a book, right? This is 240 pages. There's some great information. And if this kind of thing interests you, might be worth a read. I'm going to link it up at stephencabral.com/3129. Let's dive into the first research study of the day. Always want to start with one that isn't as pleasant, and then I'm going to end with one that's a whole lot better. All right. So the first one is this. We need to know about it, even if it's not that pleasant. Early life antibiotic use increases risk of asthma, providing clues to potential prevention in adult asthma. Now, here's the important thing. Allergies and asthma go together. So it also increases allergies as well. This is really well known. Okay, so I'm going to link up the article for you. You can get all the research, but asthma affects over 260 million people globally and causes around almost 500,000 deaths annually. The research is led by let's see, Professor Ben Marsland, and it was published in the journal Immunity. And it found that a molecule called IPA that is crucial to long-term protection against asthma. Importantly, the finding of the molecule produced by bacteria in a healthy gut provides an explanation as to why the recurrent use of antibiotics increases the risk of asthma. We know that the recurrent use of antibiotics early in life disrupts a person's healthy gut microbiota and increases the risk of allergies and asthma. We've discovered that a consequence of antibiotic treatment is the depletion of this bacteria that produces IPA, thus reducing a key molecule that has the potential to prevent asthma. All right. So, of course, what's conventional medicine going to do? They're like, oh, well, we got to create this molecule IPA, right? That's what they're going to do. Never mind fixing the gut microbiome. That's not how their brains work. Again, I think we need all sides. We really do. But for me, it's, as parents, let's be cautious about how often we use antibiotics with our kids. Now, again, I'm not giving you medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. But if it's not a life-saving condition, in my opinion, we don't need to use antibiotics. We really don't. They cause as much harm as they cause good. Now, sometimes do you need antibiotics? Yes, you do. Life-saving condition, save your life. That makes sense. You can deal with the disruptive microbiome, but you can't deal with anything if you're not here, right? So yes, life-saving, totally get it. You had surgery, you have the potential for staph infection, you may need antibiotics. But what doctors don't tell you is that the antibiotics, yeah, they'll kill the bad bacteria, but they can also kill the good. So what we need to do is replace that good bacteria. But we also need to be using something called Saccharomyces boulardii while we're using the antibiotic in order to get rid of the yeast overgrowth, candida overgrowth that can take place as well, because it's not an antifungal, which is yeast is, it's an antibiotic or antibacterial that you're taking. So I'm going to tell you exactly what we do. Non-medical advice. We use a product called Clean Gut Probiotic. That is the bacteria that you want to, healthy bacteria that you want to restore. And it's Saccharomyces boulardii. It's called Clean Gut Probiotic. If you have to take antibiotics, that's what we recommend in our practice. We also use a product called Healthy Gut Support along with it. That then helps to heal and seal the gut. So what does it contain? Well, aloe vera, glutamine, zinc, and acetylglucosamine, marshmallow root, which helps with healthy levels of inflammation. So these two things, though, can be remarkably beneficial. Very, very helpful. But if you don't need to use the antibiotics in the first place, if it's not life-saving, again, you can ask your doctor, is this life-saving? Do I need this? Is there another way I could use it? Are there any natural-based remedies I could do instead, right? Then that of course is a better option. So I'm sharing this with you because I suffered from this all the way through my 20s because I took antibiotics many times during the year as a child. That's what our PCP, pediatrician, recommended to my mom and dad. And also, I took antibiotics twice a day for 3 years for acne as a teenager, and that decimated not only my gut microbiome, but my immune system. It took me a long time to recover from that, too long, right? Now we know how to recover faster, but we didn't in the 90s, and that's when I had it. So again, just trying to share this with people. If it's helpful, do, of course, always share it with others as well. I'll link up to the research. All right, last research study for the day. I want to share with you that this is interesting. A dietary fiber could provide a long-awaited treatment for food allergy sufferers. Now, this is different than food sensitivities. Food sensitivities are not life-threatening, but they do cause inflammation. We test for those food sensitivities, just called the IgG food sensitivity test, to 190 healthy foods. We definitely recommend people check that out. You can find it at stephencabral.com/shop. But here's the thing. Food allergies can cause anaphylaxis. They can swell up the airway. They can unfortunately lead to death. Peanuts, now strawberries, shellfish, fish, sometimes eggs, all these things can be potential food allergies. Okay, so this was just published 4 weeks ago out of the University of Michigan, and here is what they found. I'm going to read this to you. So, a study from the University of Michigan has identified a potential new treatment for food allergies in inulin, a naturally occurring plant fiber commonly used as a supplement. A prebiotic, a replacement that is sometimes used for sweeteners and used in other purposes. Okay. So it appears to be a major advancement that offers the promise of relief to food allergy sufferers around the world. This was published in Nature Materials, and it describes inulin gel-based oral immunotherapy success in stopping allergic reactions right now in mice by targeting bacteria in the gut. Again, it goes back to the gut microbiome and immunity, right? So the immunity against allergies and asthma, right? The inflammation that causes those things from the gut microbiome. All right, so the gel prevented severe allergic reactions during and even after being administered, including reactions to common triggers such as peanuts, egg whites, and milk. It goes on, but I want to give you the summary of it. Essentially, what they're doing is they're using inulin and the gel that it can create, and then they're mixing in immunotherapy with it, meaning like potential small molecules of these particular allergens that then would allow for a modest or small based reaction that your immune system could then potentially become desensitized to over time, somewhat like allergy shots or allergy drops. I'm not a huge advocate of allergy shots. I used to get those as a child because they can have a lot of heavy metals in them. The immunotherapy drops now are much better without all of the, nasty adjuvants and other things that they add to them. So this can be a big breakthrough. It's probably maybe a year, 2 years or more away. Right now it's in mice-based trials, and eventually it will move up and then eventually to humans. But this would be pretty impressive because there's not a whole lot you can do unless someone outgrows it when you have a peanut allergy or something like that. So I love to be able to bring you the best of science. I really do. That includes an unbiased opinion at our natural health that we look at through science, as well as maybe even some conventional medicine interventions. So right now, you can't just take inulin. I just want to state that you don't need to take inulin. You can't just take inulin and get rid of your food allergies. This is part of an immunotherapy that they are testing using inulin and particular like I said, immunotherapies mixed in. So look for more of this to come. I just like to keep you on the cutting edge to let you know what's coming. And of course, always do feel free to share all of this information with anyone you believe it could serve. They can find out more details as well as yourself, all the links, the book reviews, the product reviews, etc. at stephencabral.com/3129 for today's show. And don't forget to tune in this weekend for our Cabral house calls every single weekend, answering about a dozen of our community's questions. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the week. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.